I am going to only read from 782 through 784. I'm going to go and make this a little nice and short today. Um, much as I like to read or whatever, but I am so tired. But I want to read. I want to read this a little bit at a time, and I have been getting over some bug that's been going around Houston, and I had to take the vaccination, and I ended up having to be treated for something else. But other than that, I am feeling a little better. I broke fever uh, over a day ago, and I'm still kind of off and on. I still need to go to sleep, but I don't want to be left unknowing what's going on in this book. It keeps calling me out to me. But anyway, okay, let's get. I'm gonna put that up here. Gonna disappear. Okay. Here we go. I'll read from the top. I will go with you even on the path of the dead, unto whatever end they may lead, said Gimli. I also will come, said Legolas, for I do not fear the dead. I hope that the forgotten people will not have forgotten how to fight, said Gimli, for otherwise I see not why we should trouble them. Then we shall know if we ever come to Eric, said Aragorn, But the oath that they broke was to fight against Sauron, and they must fight therefore, if they are to fulfill it. For at Eric there stands yet a black stone that was brought, it was said, from Numenor by Isildur, and it was set upon a hill, and upon it the king of the mountains swore allegiance to him, and the beginning of the realm of Gondor. But when Sauron returned and grew in might again, Isildur summoned the men of the mountains to fulfill their oath, and they would not, for they had worshipped Sauron in the dark years. Then Isildur said to their king, Thou shalt be the last king, and if the west prove mightier than thy black master, this curse I lay upon thee and thy folk, to rest never until your oath is fulfilled. For this war will last through years uncounted. And you shall be summoned once again ere the end. And they fled before the wrath of Isildur, and did not dare to go forth to war on Sauron's part. And they hid themselves in secret places in the mountains, and had no dealings with other men. The slowly dwindled in the barren hills, and the terror of the sleepless dead lies about the hill of Eric, and all places where that people lingered. But that way I must go, since there are none living to help me. He stood up. Come, he cried, and drew his sword, and it flashed in the 12th hall of the bird. To the stone of Eric I seek the path of the dead. Come with me who will. And Legolas and Gimli made no answer, but they rose and followed Aragorn from the hall. On the green there waited Still and silent, the hooded rangers, Legolas and Gimli, mounted. Aragorn sprang upon Rohan. Then Halrod lifted his great horn, and the blast of it echoed in Helm's Deep. And with that they leapt away, riding down the Coombe like thunder, while all the men that were left on Dyke or Burg stared in amaze. And while Theoden went by slow passing the hills, the gray company passed swiftly over the plain, and on the next day in the afternoon they came to Eldorus, and there they halted only briefly. Ere they passed up the valley, and so came Dunharl, as darkness fell. The lady Eowyn greeted them and was glad at what coming, for no mighty men had she seen that Duncan and the fair sons of Eorl. But on Aragorn, most of all, her eyes rested. And when they sat at supper with her, they talked together. And she heard of all that had passed since Theoden rode away, concerning which only hasty tidings had reached her. And when she heard of the battle in Helm's Deep, and the great slaughter of their foes, and the charge of Theoden and his knights, then her eyes shone. But at last she said, Lords, you are weary, and shall now go to your beds with such ease as can be contrived in haste. But tomorrow fairer housing shall be found for you. But Aragorn said, Nay, lady, be not troubled for us, if we may lie here tonight and break our fast tomorrow. It will be enough. For I ride on an errand most urgent, and with the first light of morning we must go. She smiled on him and said, Then it was kindly done, Lord, to ride so many miles out of your way to bring tidings to Eowyn, and to speak with her in her exile. Indeed, no man would count such a journey wasted, said Aragorn. And yet, lady, I would not have come hither. It were not that the road which I must take leads me to Dunharl. And she answered as one she likes what is said. Then, Lord, you are astray, for out of Haraldale no road runs east or south, and you had best return as you came. Nay, lady, said he, I am not astray, for I walked in this land ere you were born to grace it. There is a road out of this valley, and that road I shall take. Tomorrow I shall ride by the paths of the dead. And then she stared at him as one that is stricken, and her face blanched. And for long she spoke no more, while all sat silent. But Aragorn, she said at last, it is then your errand to seek death, for that is all that you will find on that road. They do not suffer the living to pass. They may suffer me to pass, said Aragorn. But at the least I will adventure it. No other road will serve. But this is madness, she said. For here are men of renown and prowess, whom you should not take into the shadows, but should lead a war where men are needed. I beg you to remain and ride with my brother, for then all our hearts will be gladdened, and our hope be the brighter. It is not madness, lady, he answered, for I go on a path appointed, with those who follow me do so of their free will. And if they wish now to remain and ride with the Roran, they may do so. But I shall take the path of the dead alone if needs be. Then they said no more, and they ate in silence. But her eyes were ever upon Aragorn, and the others saw that she was in great torment of mind. At length they arose and took their leave of the lady, and thanked her for her care, and went to the rest. But as Aragorn came to the booth where he was to lodge with Legolas and Gimli, and his companions had gone in, there came the Lady Eowyn after him and called to him. He turned and saw her as a glimmer in the night, for she was clad in white, but her eyes were on fire. Aragorn, she said, why will you go on this deadly road? Because I must, he said. Only so can I see any hope of doing my part in the war against Sauron. I do not choose paths of peril, Eowyn. Were I to go where my heart dwells, far in the north, I would now be wandering in the fair valley of Rivendell. For a while she was silent, as if pondering what this might mean. Then suddenly she laid her hand on his arm. You are a stern lord and resolute, she said, and thus do men win renown. She paused. Lord, she said, if you must go, then let me ride in your following, for I am weary of skulking in the hills and wish to face peril in battle. Your duty is with your people, he answered. Too often have I heard of duty, she cried. But am I not of the house of Earl, a shield maiden, and not a dry nurse? I have waited on faltering feet long enough, since they falter no longer, it seems. May I not now spend my life as I will? You may do that with honor, he answered. But as for you, lady, did you not accept the charge to govern the people until the Lord's return? If you had not been chosen, then some marshal or captain would have been set in the same place, and he could not ride away from his charge, were he wary of it or no. Shall I always be chosen? She said bitterly. Shall I always be left behind when the riders depart? to mine the house while they win renown and find food and beds when they return. A time may come soon, said he, when none will return. Then there will be need of valor without renown. For none shall remember the deeds that are done in the last defense of your homes. Yet the deeds will not be less valiant because they are unpraised. And she answered, all your words are but to say, you are a woman, and your part is in the house. But when the men have died in battle, in honor you have leave to be burned in the house, where the men will need it no more. But I am of the house of O, and not a serving woman. I can ride and wield blade, and I do not fear either pain or death. What do you fear, lady? He asked. A cage, she said, to stay behind bars until youth and old age accept them. And all chance of doing great deeds is gone beyond the call on desire. And yet you counseled me not to adventure on the road that I had chosen, because it is perilous. So may one counsel another, she said. Yet I do not bid you flee from peril, but to ride to battle, where your sword may win renown and victory. I would not see a thing that is high and excellent cast away needlessly, nor would I, he said. Therefore I say to you, lady, stay, for you have no errand to the south. Neither have those others who go with thee, though they go only because they would not be parted from thee, because they love thee. Then she turned and vanished into the night. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. And on page 785. And we will continue from there. You may go ahead and discuss what is going to happen. Are there any differences from what happened in the movie? Well, I'm excited about hearing more about three more movies. Excellent, huh? So, what, the Hunt for Gollum is on the way, in the making. They're setting up the cast and crew, and also, what? It's going to be a trilogy, another trilogy. Great, babs, snaps. But I'm going to be saying, people, it's going to be very interesting. We only had a glimpse of what had happened. You know, how did he begin? Excuse me. And Smeagol and Gollum. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go. But please, people, make sure if you having fun, please make sure you don't hurt yourself or someone else while you're doing it. But anyway, take care and safe travels. Okay. Bye. Later.